What would you do if you discovered your wife was cheating on you? With your best friend of 15 years, the person who was the best man at your wedding, the guy who held your kids when they were born. Would you confront them immediately? Would you forgive them? Or would you take your time, plan meticulously, and execute the most calculated revenge that systematically ruins both their lives piece by piece? Well, that's exactly what happened to me 6 months ago. And what I did next. They never saw it coming. Not even close. By the time I was done, my ex-wife lost her kids, her family, her business, and her dignity. My ex-best friend lost his career, his fiancée, his reputation, and any chance of recovering in our industry. And me? I came out stronger, wealthier, and happier than I've been in years. But here's the real question I want you to answer by the end of this video. Was I justified in what I did? Or did I cross a line and become the villain? You be the judge. Drop your honest opinion in the comments and let's see where people stand on this. Before we get started, if you're new here, this channel is all about real revenge stories where people fought back against betrayal, injustice, and disrespect. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I post new stories every single day. Now, let's get into this. My name is Marcus. I'm 34 years old, and up until 6 months ago, I genuinely believed I had the perfect life. I'm talking picture perfect, the kind of life people envy on social media. I'd been married to my wife Sarah for 8 years. We met in college, dated for 3 years before getting married in this beautiful ceremony with 200 guests. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Sarah was gorgeous, charming, and social. I was the stable, successful guy who provided everything she needed. We had 2 kids together, Emma, who's 7, and Lucas, who's 5. Beautiful, smart kids. They were my entire world. We lived in a 4-bedroom house in a great neighborhood, drove nice cars, took vacations twice a year. From the outside, everything looked amazing. I'm a divorce attorney. Yeah, I know, the irony isn't lost on me. I specialize in high net worth divorces, which means I make good money and I understand exactly how messy separations can get. I've seen every dirty trick in the book, every manipulation tactic, every way someone can try to screw over their spouse in a divorce. Remember this detail. It becomes very important later. Now let's talk about Jake. Jake and I met in college freshman year. We were roommates, became best friends immediately. This guy was like a brother to me. We went through everything together: graduation, first jobs, relationships, breakups. When I proposed to Sarah, Jake was the first person I told. When we got married, he was my best man and gave this incredible speech that had everyone crying and laughing. When Emma was born, Jake was at the hospital, same with Lucas. The kids called him Uncle Jake. He was over at our house almost every weekend. Barbecues, game nights, birthday parties, Jake was family. Sarah and Jake got along great, which I loved. No weird tension, no jealousy. I actually felt lucky that my wife and best friend were friends too. It made life so much easier. We'd all hang out together, go on double dates when Jake was seeing someone, and I never once suspected anything was off. I trusted both of them completely. That was my first mistake. 3 months ago, everything changed in one night. I had a business trip scheduled to Miami for a 3-day conference. It was a big deal, potential clients, networking events, the whole thing. I left on a Tuesday morning, kissed Sarah and the kids goodbye, and headed to the airport. The conference was going well. Wednesday night, I was at a dinner event when I got an alert on my phone. My flight back on Thursday had been canceled due to weather issues. The airline rebooked me on an earlier flight that would get me home Wednesday night instead of Thursday evening. I texted Sarah around 7 p.m. "Hey babe, flight got changed. I'll be home around 10 tonight instead of tomorrow." She replied within a minute, "Oh okay, see you soon, love you," with a heart emoji. Normal text, nothing seemed off. I landed at 9:30 p.m., got my car from airport parking and started the 40-minute drive home. I was tired, looking forward to sleeping in my own bed. I wasn't suspicious of anything. Why would I be? When I pulled onto our street around 10:15 p.m., I immediately noticed something strange. Jake's car, this distinctive blue BMW he'd just bought 2 months ago, was parked 3 houses down from ours. Not in front of our house, but down the street, like he was trying to be discreet. My first thought was, that's weird. Why is Jake here, and why is he parked down there? I pulled into our driveway. The house was mostly dark except for one light, our bedroom upstairs. The kids' rooms were dark. They'd be asleep by that time. Sarah's car was in the driveway. I sat in my car for a minute and this feeling just washed over me. You know that gut instinct that something is very, very wrong. That's what I felt. My heart started pounding. I pulled out my phone and opened the voice recorder app. Then I quietly opened the front door with my key. The house was silent except for sounds coming from upstairs. The kind of sounds that made my blood run cold. I could hear them, through the ceiling, in my bedroom, in the bed I sleep in every night. I started up the stairs, my phone recording everything. Every step felt like slow motion. My hands were shaking, but I forced myself to stay calm. I needed evidence. I knew what I was doing. I'm a divorce attorney. Evidence is everything. I reached our bedroom door. It was slightly open. The sounds were clear now, undeniable. I pushed the door open. And there they were. My wife of 8 years and my best friend of 15 years. In my bed, completely exposed, in the middle of the act. Sarah saw me first. She screamed and grabbed the sheets. Jake turned around and his face went absolutely white. He literally fell off the bed trying to scramble away. I just stood there in the doorway, phone up, recording everything. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't move. I was completely, eerily calm, and that calmness terrified them more than if I had exploded in rage. Marcus, Sarah started, pulling the sheet around herself. Marcus, please, I can explain. Don't, I said quietly. My voice was steady, cold. Don't say a single word. Jake was grabbing his clothes off the floor, hopping around trying to put his pants on. Man, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean for this to. How long? I interrupted, still recording. They both froze. How long? I repeated. Sarah started crying. Marcus, please. Answer the question, Sarah. Jake couldn't look at me. 6 months, he mumbled. 6 months, half a year, while I was working 60-hour weeks to provide for my family, while I trusted him around my kids, while I invited him into my home every single weekend. Both of you have exactly 5 minutes to get out of my house, I said. If you're still here after that, I'm calling the police and pressing charges for trespassing. And trust me, with this video, they'll arrest you both. Marcus, please, can we just talk? Sarah tried. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, I said, looking at my watch. That got them moving. Sarah threw on clothes, crying hysterically. Jake wouldn't even glance in my direction. They both rushed past me and down the stairs. I heard the front door open and close. Car doors, engines starting. Then silence. I stood in my bedroom doorway for what felt like an hour but was probably 5 minutes. Then I walked downstairs, sat in my home office, and I watched the video I'd just recorded. And then I started planning. I didn't sleep that night, not even a little. I sat in my office until 6 a.m. and I planned out every single move. See, here's the thing most people don't understand about revenge. Emotion makes you sloppy. Anger makes you impulsive. If I had confronted them, yelled, fought, made a scene, I would have felt better for maybe 10 minutes. But then what? They'd apologize, maybe cry, promise it would never happen again, and I'd be left looking like the crazy, jealous husband. No, I needed to be smart, calculated, patient. And I had advantages they didn't know about. First, I'm a divorce attorney specializing in contested, high-conflict separations. I know every law, every loophole, every strategy. I've handled cases where people tried to hide assets, manipulate custody, and lie under oath. I know how to win. Second, I had ironclad evidence. That video was legal. I recorded it in my own home, on my own property. It clearly showed infidelity, which in our state affects custody decisions and asset division. Third, I knew things about both of them they'd forgotten I knew. Personal information, secrets, vulnerabilities. I called in sick to work that Thursday and Friday, told them I had food poisoning from the conference. Then I got to work. I called my colleague David, who's one of the best divorce attorneys in the state and specializes in father's rights cases. We met Thursday morning at a coffee shop far from my usual area. I showed him the video. His eyes went wide. "Marcus, this is about as solid as evidence gets. With this, you can pursue full physical custody, and she'll be lucky to get supervised visitation." We drafted divorce papers immediately, citing irreconcilable differences and infidelity. We requested full physical custody of both children with Sarah, getting only supervised visitation. The house, it was in my name anyway, bought before marriage. Her to cover her own legal fees. Alimony, absolutely not. She was getting nothing. David filed everything by Friday afternoon. Sarah would be served papers within a week. I immediately locked down our joint bank accounts, transferred my salary deposits to a new account in only my name, canceled her credit cards that were linked to my accounts, changed passwords on everything. I documented every shared asset, every purchase, every account. I knew she'd try to claim she deserved half of everything. Not happening. This is where it got interesting. Jake worked at my law firm. Different department. He was in corporate law while I was in family law, but same company. About 150 employees total. Our firm has a very strict ethics policy. Relationships between employees have to be disclosed. Fraternization that damages the firm's reputation is a fireable offense, and having an affair with a colleague's wife, that's about as bad as it gets. I scheduled a meeting with 3 of the senior partners for Monday morning, told them it was urgent and personal. Monday comes, I walk into that conference room with my laptop. The 3 partners are there, Mr. Hoffman, Ms. Chen, and Mr. Richards. "Gentlemen, ma'am, thank you for meeting with me. I need to report an ethics violation and conflict of interest involving Jake Morrison." I showed them the video, explained the timeline, showed them proof that Jake knew we were married, photos of him at our wedding with our kids at our house. Their faces went from confused to shocked to angry in about 30 seconds. "This is a massive liability for the firm," Ms. Chen said, "if clients found out one of our attorneys was involved in something like this." "We'll handle this immediately," Mr. Hoffman said. "Marcus, take the week off, paid leave, we'll take care of this." Jake was fired by Tuesday afternoon, escorted out of the building with security. No severance package because it was termination for cause. But I wasn't done, not even close. Sarah came from a very traditional conservative family. Her parents, Linda and Robert, were religious, old-fashioned people who believed strongly in marriage, family values, and loyalty. They absolutely adored me. In their eyes, I was the perfect son-in-law, successful, respectful, good father. They'd been helping Sarah financially for the past 2 years. She'd started a small online boutique business selling handmade jewelry and clothes. It was barely breaking even, losing money most months. Her parents were bankrolling it to the tune of about $2,000 a month, which over 2 years was nearly $50,000. Sunday morning, 5 days after I'd caught them, I called Linda and Robert and asked if I could come over for coffee. Just me, without Sarah or the kids. I told them I needed to discuss something important about their daughter. They could tell something was wrong. I sat in their living room, the same living room where we'd spent dozens of Christmases and family dinners, and I told them everything. Showed them the video, though I fast-forwarded through the explicit parts, showed them the evidence. Linda started crying immediately. Robert went silent, his face red. "I'm so sorry you both have to see this," I said, "but I thought you deserved to know the truth about what Sarah's been doing. I've filed for divorce and I'm seeking full custody of Emma and Lucas." "Those are our grandchildren," Linda said through tears. "We'll support whatever you need to do, Marcus. I can't believe she would do this." Robert spoke up, his voice hard. "She won't get another cent from us. Not after this. The business, everything, we're cutting her off." And they did. That same day, they canceled the bank account they'd set up for Sarah's business, stopped the monthly payments, called her and told her exactly why. Sarah called me that night, hysterical, screaming about how I'd turned her parents against her. I let her yell for about 30 seconds, then I hung up, blocked her number. All communication would go through lawyers from that point on. Now here's something I haven't mentioned yet. Jake had been engaged for 4 months to a woman named Emma, different Emma, not my daughter. She was 29, worked as a nurse, and was apparently completely in love with Jake. They were planning a wedding for the following spring. Emma had no idea about the affair. None. She thought Jake was faithful and loving and wonderful. I struggled with this one, honestly. Emma was completely innocent. She hadn't done anything wrong, but she deserved to know who she was about to marry, right? If I didn't tell her and she married him, and then years later found out I'd known, how would that be fair to her? So I created a new email address, anonymous, and I sent her the video with a simple message. "I'm so sorry you have to see this. You deserve to know who you're marrying. This was recorded last week. The woman is his best friend's wife. I'm sending this because you deserve better." I sent it on a Tuesday evening. By Wednesday morning, Jake's social media was deleted. Emma had posted on her Facebook, "Sometimes you think you know someone. Wedding is off. Please respect my privacy." Through mutual friends, I heard that Emma had kicked Jake out of her apartment immediately. He'd been living with her. She threw all his stuff on the lawn and changed the locks. Jake tried to call me 17 times over the next 3 days. I never answered. He left voicemails begging me to talk to Emma, to tell her he was sorry, that it was a mistake. I deleted every single one without listening to the full message. Word spread fast. Our friend group, about 15 couples we'd known for years, all found out within 2 weeks. Some because I told them directly, others through the grapevine. The reaction was almost unanimous. Sarah and Jake were cut off. People stopped inviting them to things. Group chats went silent when they'd post. Mutual friends chose sides and almost everyone chose mine. Why? Because I was the victim. I hadn't done anything wrong. I was the faithful husband and father who'd been betrayed by the 2 people he trusted most. Sarah tried to salvage friendships, but when people asked for her side of the story, what could she say? She couldn't deny the affair. She couldn't claim I was abusive or a bad husband because everyone knew that wasn't true. She was isolated. The divorce proceedings took 3 months. Sarah hired a lawyer, a mediocre one she could barely afford since her parents cut her off and she had no income. My lawyer, David, destroyed her in court. We presented the video evidence of infidelity, character testimonies from friends and neighbors, financial records showing I provided everything for the family, child welfare reports showing the kids were happy, healthy, and well-adjusted in my care. Sarah tried to argue that she was a good mother, that the affair was a mistake, that she deserved 50-50 custody. The judge didn't buy it. In his words, Ms. Thompson showed a severe lack of judgment by conducting an affair in the family home where the children reside. While infidelity alone doesn't determine custody, the pattern of behavior demonstrates prioritizing personal desires over family welfare. I was awarded primary physical custody. Sarah got supervised visitation, 4 hours every other weekend, supervised by her parents. She was devastated. She tried to appeal but couldn't afford the legal fees. I got the house. She got nothing in asset division because I'd purchased the house before marriage, and I could prove every mortgage payment came from my income alone. No alimony. The judge ruled that since the marriage ended due to her infidelity and she was capable of working, she wasn't entitled to support. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. So where is everyone now, 3 months after everything fell apart? Last I heard through mutual connections, Jake is working at a call center doing customer service. He can't get another law job. See, the legal community in our city isn't that big. Word spreads fast, especially about ethics violations and affairs. Jake's former fiance's family is well connected. Her father is a retired judge. Her uncle is a senior partner at one of the biggest firms in the state. When Emma told them what happened, they made sure people knew. Not in a malicious way necessarily, but in a be careful who you hire way. Jake applied to 7 different firms. All rejected him. His reputation is destroyed. He moved into a studio apartment in a bad part of town. His BMW got repossessed because he couldn't keep up the payments on a call center salary. And here's the kicker. He tried to make it work with Sarah after everything fell apart. Maybe he thought, well, we ruined our lives for this, might as well see it through. They dated for about 3 months after the divorce was final. It didn't last. According to a mutual friend, Jake started blaming Sarah for everything, for seducing him, for getting caught, for ruining his career. They had a massive fight where Jake told her she destroyed his life and he wished he'd never met her. So now he's alone, broke, working a job he hates and blacklisted in his chosen career. Sarah moved into a tiny 1-bedroom apartment about 30 minutes away. She had to get a job. She's working retail now at a department store, plus waitressing on weekends. Her boutique business collapsed immediately when her parents pulled funding. She tried to keep it going but couldn't afford the inventory or website hosting costs. She sees the kids every other weekend for 4 supervised hours. Emma and Lucas are always happy to see her at first, but after about an hour, they start asking when they're going back to Daddy's house. Kids are perceptive. They know something changed. Sarah's tried to date a few times, saw her on a dating app through a friend's account, but apparently it's not going well. When you have to explain in a first date that you cheated on your husband with his best friend and lost custody of your kids, it doesn't inspire confidence. Her parents still talk to her, but the relationship is strained. They're civil because she's their daughter, but the warmth is gone. Last Christmas, they spent it at my house with me and the kids. Sarah wasn't invited. She tried to reach out to me a month ago. Sent an email asking if we could talk, saying she wanted to apologize properly, that she'd made a terrible mistake and regretted everything. I didn't respond. There's nothing she could say that would change anything. No apology that would undo the betrayal. As for me, honestly, I'm doing better than I've been in years. The first month was hard. I won't lie. I went to therapy twice a week to process the betrayal and anger. I needed to make sure I was emotionally healthy for my kids. Emma and Lucas adjusted surprisingly well. Kids are resilient. I sat them down and explained in age-appropriate terms that Mommy and Daddy weren't going to be married anymore, but we both still loved them very much. They cried a bit, but they've been okay. I sold the house, too many bad memories, and bought a new place in an even better neighborhood. Fresh start. Work has been great. I got a promotion 2 months ago. I'm now managing partner of the family law division. And here's something I didn't expect. I met someone. Her name is Rachel. She's 32, works as a graphic designer. We met through mutual friends about 6 weeks ago. We're taking things very slow. She knows everything about my situation, and she's been incredibly understanding and patient. Emma and Lucas met her last week. Just as a friend, nothing serious introduced yet. They liked her. I've started working out regularly, eating better, and I've reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with over the years. My life is genuinely better now than it was when I was married to Sarah. The betrayal hurt. It hurt like hell. But looking back now, I think staying in that marriage would have been worse. I would have never known she was capable of that level of deception. Who knows what else she would have done over the years. Getting out was the best thing that could have happened to me. So, now that you've heard the entire story from beginning to end, here's what I want to know from you. Was I justified in everything I did? Did Sarah and Jake deserve to have their lives systematically destroyed, or did I go too far? Here are the specific things I want you to weigh in on. 1. Was I wrong to show Sarah's parents the video? They're older and conservative. That had to have traumatized them. Should I have just told them without visual proof? 2. Was I wrong to tell Jake's fiancée? She was innocent. Some people might argue I should have let her figure it out on her own or that it wasn't my place. 3. Was I wrong to go after Jake's career? Yes, he betrayed me, but did he deserve to be essentially blacklisted from his entire profession? 4. The custody battle. Some people think 50-50 custody should be default regardless of infidelity. Do you think I was right to fight for full custody, or should I have agreed to split time equally? I genuinely want to know what you think, and I want you to be honest, even if you think I'm the villain here. Drop a comment with your judgment. Type justified if you think I did the right thing and they got what they deserved. Type too far if you think I crossed a line and went overboard with the revenge. Type mixed if you think some things were justified but others weren't, and explain which parts. And if you've ever been in a situation like this, betrayed by someone you loved and trusted, share your story in the comments. How did you handle it? Did you get revenge or did you take the high road? I read every single comment and I'd love to hear your experiences. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I post a new revenge story every single day. Real stories about people who fought back against betrayal, injustice, and being wronged. Tomorrow's video is absolutely insane. It's about a bridezilla who tried to sabotage my wedding because I didn't make her a bridesmaid, and the revenge I got at her wedding 6 months later was absolutely savage. You don't want to miss it. Also, hit that like button if you found this story interesting, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another story. Until then, stay strong and remember, sometimes the best revenge is just living well and letting karma do its thing. But sometimes karma needs a little help.